in this Congress where we can exchange our knowledge, experiences, and lessons learned so far in our practical activities in disaster management. So now the Congress has succeeded in its mandate and is facing its closure. At this very moment, we are discussing how to declare our understanding and commitments to the world as the result of this Congress. So I would like to make some brief comments on the declaration itself. First of all, in the first paragraph, we mentioned aggregated populations by sex and by age, but as I think it is a small mistake, we should mention aged here. Aged. And then overall document. In overall document, I'd like to have a clear expression of our strong commitment toward Sendai framework. This Congress, as far as I know, this Congress is the first world global scale Congress dealing with disaster management after Sendai conference. So it is very important for us to express our strong commitment towards Sendai framework. Secondly, I think we should mention the rational balancing between long-term profits, medium-term profits, and short-term profits in our development endeavors. So as you can see, in our activities toward DRR and CCA, the local level, the local communities are very important, and this is where we are facing most of the difficulties and troubles. This is the place where the community people's desire toward short-term and immediate economic profits are confronting with our endeavors toward long-term sustainable profits and development. So in order to fill the gap at the local communities, we should have clear political commitments toward rational balancing between long-term and short-term profits. And as well, human development is the very basis for any kind of development endeavors. So our declaration should also mention the importance of human development at all levels. Without human development, there will be no socio-economic development. So our disaster management activities, our DRR approaches should also be begun with human development. Of course, we may mention about importance of integration of DRR into SDG, SD and CCA, close linkage between sustainable development, climate change adaptation, and disaster risk reduction can be mentioned in some place in our document. That's all. These are all my comments, and I would like to thank you for your listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ong, for highlighting some very, very crucial points of bringing about a balance between short-term gains, long-term benefits, the importance of humans and human development at the center of all that we are doing. I will now request our next speaker from Sri Lanka, Mr. K.D. Chitrapala. He is Municipal Treasurer, Colombo Municipal Council, and member of Sri Lanka Accountant Service. Mr. Chittipala, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman, eminent speakers, and ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I am happy here today because last 2 days, and today we attended conference, World Congress on Disaster Management. We participated several countries and the states. We discussed and shared several ideas and knowledge also acquired, and we can now actually implement in our states, countries, and other part of the world. We learn and share last 2 days how disaster management, disaster situation handle various aspects, all the stakeholder groups, then children participation, NGO participation, process participation, that is very important, highlighted, in media participation. Normally some people or some countries, they are not focused in that aspect. Then community participation and local government participation. The level, there are, then now in Sri Lanka, there are 3 types of administrative level, central level, provincial level, and local level. Now actually the disaster before 2004, we didn't focus this subject because after 2004 we affected tsunami. After that we have focused and give more attention for disaster subjects. Then my suggestion is really today we have to now we work with the NGOs, the government institutes from the government institution point of view. Government institutes will have to get more NGO support, and will have to make the good build up a good rapport and the trust. That is important because most of the time we have seen that the government department, ministries, then so officials, those people, they will they are not making good trust with the NGOs and the other stakeholder groups. Then that is important because the NGOs also can be play a good big role in this situation. The other one is we should encourage to private sector participation. That of course should be encouraged by the government. Next one is actually next suggestion is the local government. Of course, because local government elected people and the administrators both are there, then they can understand the local situation, and they can handle the situation of disaster. Therefore, that also will have to encourage more than the prevailing level. I think these are the things that we have contributed, and then we share with you. Thank you very much giving the opportunity to contribute this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chittipalaji. I think very, very good points about the civil society, NGOs, and the local community and their importance, in this process. I have a young colleague, Love McQueen, from Caritas. I think she came here and then she went back, but I thought I'm not going to leave her. So please, Love McQueen.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha. And here I'm not representing Caritas, I'm here representing Geoclimate Risk Solutions. I just have 3 points to make. Other than endorsing what the previous speaker has said, that we should also focus on integrating climate change adaptation, the sustainable development goals with the DRR priorities. To be very specific, I also feel the focus on elderly has been missed out, and we should also include them in the preamble. Secondly, when we talk about hazard, risk, vulnerability assessment, we should somewhere again in the preamble or somewhere in the document focus on mapping pre-existing vulnerabilities of the communities. When we talk of women, children, elderly, disabled, then also cutting across their social realities like caste and religion, when these all come into play, and then also mapping their livelihood patterns, so that when we talk of disasters, disaster risk reduction, we also focus on building back better, and not just mapping physical hazards and vulnerabilities. And then the last point is, we are talking about in the regional continental section, comprehensive school safety program. But I think there are many children who are all the time on the move. There are migrant children, children who are trafficked, children abused post-disaster. So there should be a comprehensive program, which may not be school safety program, but to cover all these categories of children who are out of school also. So with these 3 quick points, I think I just would like to conclude. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lee McQueen. You know, I think this point about out of school children is extremely important, and you know, she's done a great job by highlighting this. Soni Sahab, I'll take your permission before I call you. I see again there is a young boy and a lady who is sitting here. So I'll call them first, Miss Padmaja and Raju. So Raju, will you like to come and speak first? Or you? No. Oh, they don't want to say anything. But I think we'll have your contributions anyway. Whatever want to speak.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ముందుగా నాకు ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన సార్కి, రే గారికి ముఖ్యంగా కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలియజేస్తున్నా. ఇంతమంది మేధావుల మధ్య నాకు మాట్లాడే అవకాశం వచ్చినందుకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. ఈ విశాఖ డిక్లరేషన్ డిజాస్టర్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఇక్కడ జరుగుతున్నందుకు సంతోషంగా ఉంది. ముఖ్యంగా గ్రామ స్థాయిలో నుండి ఈ డిజాస్టర్ రిస్క్ రిడక్షన్ యాక్టివిటీస్ అన్నది మొదలు పెడితే కనుక అందరూ వ్యక్తిగతంగా మనం మంచి పర్యావరణాన్ని కాపాడుకోవాలి, విపత్తులను ఎదుర్కోవడానికి ఎప్పుడు మనం సంసిద్ధులుగా ఉండాలి. బాలల దగ్గర నుండి పెద్దవాళ్ళ వరకు కూడా మనం సంసిద్ధులుగా ఉండి విపత్తులను ఎదుర్కొనేలా ఉంటే కనుక మంచి పర్యావరణాన్ని భవిష్యత్ తరాలకి అందచేయాలని నేను ఇందుమూలంగా థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Sorry, I will have to translate those 2 statements. Padmaja, who comes from an organization called Action, partner of Save the Children, they are about 4 hours from Visakhapatnam in the area called Rajamandri. You have seen she, along with a couple of others, were here with 40 children, representing many children in India. So she's saying, as a village-based organization working with children, youth, etc., she feels that this statement is giving them a direction and affirmation of what they do, and they really would like to see children and youth coming to the center stage. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ray Kanchadla, for translating this, and thank you, Ms. Padmaja, for the very valuable contribution you say. I'll now call upon Dr. K.M. Soni. He is a very senior engineer in the rank of chief engineer, CPWD. Yesterday also he made some brilliant presentation and brilliant interventions. Dr. Soni, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my colleagues and friends on dais and off the dais. I think disasters will continue to come. We should not avoid them. We have seen a small incidents here, fire incidents. Probably we have done some unsafe work. Maybe that we have done jointing of the wires. Maybe that in place of 3-pin plug we have use two pin plug. Similarly, we are doing in our society when we are doing the works. It's not the disasters, but it is the structures which are really, we are worried for the structures, unsafe structures. They kill the people. We have a lot of loss of the life, loss of the properties because of the unsafe structures. We have national codes, we have guidelines, we have knowledge, but we are not implementing it. Now we are to stop doing unsafe works. What we are doing at present, we are thinking for the relief, for the response after the disasters. We should be ready before the disasters. Until and unless we stop doing unsafe construction, will not be going at par with the developed countries. What we are to do is, we are to bring government, NGOs, communities, public and engineers, whether it is local bodies, it is state government, it is panchayats together, and then we are to see that we do not create any unsafe structure now onwards. That is important. So let us see that we are not increasing our inventory of unsafe structures, whether it is buildings, or any other type of structures. Second, we have large number of structures which are already constructed as unsafe. Now these unsafe structures are needed to be retrofitted to make them safe. This is the high time that we start doing retrofitting of those structures. Unless we do retrofitting, what will be doing when disasters comes? They will fail. They will be really posing the problems to all of us, and then we will be just doing the response and then relief. That's all. So these two things are important. One, everybody should see, including the community, including the public, including the governments, including the local bodies, that we must stop unsafe constructions. You see, whether we require a structural engineer, let us do it. We already approved the drawings at local bodies level. They are only architectural drawings. Some local bodies, they have started doing structural analysis, approving structural design. Now we should no more do the architectural design only approval, but also structural design approval through the structural designers. They do not cost much, maybe 0.5% or 1/4% of the cost of the construction. That is one part. Simultaneously, as we are going for missions, Swachh Bharat mission, and say building housing for all by 2022, and something like that, we'll have to do it for making safe structures by some year, maybe to 2025. And let us contribute, we engineers, we public, local bodies, everybody, by issuing something, guidelines also, standard guidelines, so that public is aware, and this capacity building is done between the engineers, architects, local persons, masons, public, everybody, so that they make their buildings safe. And this also is not going to cost much, maybe 5%, 10%. Once the buildings are safe, then even if disasters comes, they will not be failing. If they are not failing, then our lives will be safe. So what is important? Two things. What I am saying is that let us vow that we will not make unsafe structures, we will not do unsafe work. Second, whatever unsafe structures are there, they will be retrofitted and they will be made safe. These two things I am emphasizing. I hope that if we do it, then response and relief, this total work will be less for everybody, whether it is Air Force, it is Defense, NDRF, or even public and community and NGOs. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Soni has highlighted very, very important point, which I would say promoting a culture of safe construction, you see. That is very crucial, because maximum number of killings in these kinds of disasters happen because of the built structures falling, you see. therefore, whatever new constructions are going to be undertaken, at any level, in any country, any society, we must go for safe construction. There are codes already which must be followed, and as far as the existing constructions are concerned, existing structures are concerned, there this whole promoting this business of retrofitting, and is very, very important, and thank you Dr. Soni for highlighting. And what is called techno-legal regime, which was talked yesterday, to implement this, we have bylaws, we have laws, etc., regulations. So a combinations of laws, rules, regulations, bylaws, which make it compulsory, and that combined with the NBC codes and all that, that is the kind of a techno-legal regime which must be adopted, and I suppose there can be no compromise on that. That is the message which Dr. Soni was giving. Well, friends, we have had this reading out of the Visakhapatnam Declaration, and from the eminent panelists on the dais, very valuable inputs from each one of them. I am sure lot of the participants in the hall, they are also bubbling with ideas and thoughts and recommendations. So I'll now throw the floor open, and I will request, I have seen one hand already, that all those who want to make their point, kindly raise your hand so that, and identify yourself so that I can know. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. On this side somehow I am not seeing. So, okay, 1 on this side, so there is no treasury, there is no opposition. We are all in the treasury. We are all in the same society. Okay. My request to each one would be to kindly be brief, to the point. I suppose we have maybe around 15 minutes to wrap it up. So may I now begin? Where is the mic, please? Can the mic be given to Professor Akbaruddin? Okay, why don't you begin, sir? I think you wanted to make a point. Please identify yourself also.
Hello, test. Hello.
Yeah, it is.
Sir, very good morning to you. My name is Colonel Kapil. I'm from the Indian Army. Sir, when we look at the armed forces, we look at them only during times of response to a disaster. My urge would be that we must also look at the armed forces as a learning value in terms of preparedness and prevention. So there are two aspects in the armed forces which you should be looking at. One is our attitude. It's our attitude of positivity. We are always on the edge. It's our attitude of empathy and our attitude of concern. And second is the culture of safety and discipline which we have in our lifestyle, sir. There's a culture of participation, there's a culture of responsibility, and a culture of accountability, sir. I think that is something, if I dare to say, sir, is missing in the civil society, sir. And if that comes in, sir, it's going to make a change in the way we look at disasters and we prepare ourselves, sir. So, when you look at our cantonments, the way our hospitals are managed in the areas of counterinsurgency, sir, that is a disaster which we manage every day, sir. When you look at environment protection of our cantonments, that's something you should learn from us, sir. And the checks and balances which we have in whatever we do, sir. And I'm sure, sir, if you would appreciate, utilize our expertise in nation building, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for pleading for and making a forceful case for culture of safety, discipline, and accountability. Professor Akbaruddin from Bangladesh, please. Can you pass on the mic to him?
Hello, test.
Thank you, sir. My concern is in respect of safe drinking water. This arsenic contamination in large parts of Bangladesh and certain parts of West Bengal, this is a silent killer, and I personally feel that this is a major disaster area which needs the attention not only of the countries concerned but of the world communities, because these are highly densely populated regions. That's number one. The second one is in respect of the hello? Yeah. In respect of the
Hello, test. Hello.
In respect of the Sustainable Development Goals 2030, I think this massive, this most important Congress in disaster management, you can give a signal to the world community that this Sustainable Development Goals as adopted by the United Nations and adopted by countries around the world, they could focus on a certain percentage of the GDP towards this particular aspect of disaster management, an allocation of finance to be made by the member states. This is something I would certainly like to be incorporated in the declaration. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting this very important issue for the society about the safe drinking water. Dr. Rao from NIC, please.
Sir, these experts, they have done excellent, the declaration and other things. You have taken the UN framework, and based on that, some of the things you have done, that particular thing is excellent. But what is once HIGO framework, and then when they have done that, and then Sendai framework, when they have compared, they have taken the base. In the 10 years, they have analyzed. You see what has happened, 7 lakhs, the casualties, and 1.4 millions actually injured, and then trillions of loss is there, and what are the gaps in that particular Sendai framework they have taken, and then gaps they want to fill, and then they have gone for that. In that way, they have done the improvement. Similarly here, when you have done the declaration, it is fine. Now we should have a base for that. And then next time when we do that particular thing, we have to take this particular base and compare what sort of improvements it is required next time when we review. And another thing, this declaration, it should come out into an action plan. When we make the action plan also, how do we implement our action plan? What are the indicators? First, that it has to be suggested, and then that particular thing, improvements we have to make. Otherwise, making the plans, and then only thing, it will be in the form of the paper. So always a review, and then how do we test our plan? That is very important in any of the disaster management particular things. That's why when we do that plan, you have to involve the universities. And then that particular, for example, here in Visakhapatnam, if you see, the traffic and other things, if you see, something, the accident, it happens. How do you mobilize people to the nearby hospitals and other things? What is the route plan? Some 10 locations you can do that, and then you involve universities, and then give them the task, and then execute. Don't tell that particular thing you use IT and other things. Give them a freedom, and then you keep the indicators. For example, the response. Once if it is there, what we need is injures, how much time? Without any plan, what is the response time? And once you have a plan in place, what is your response time? You make that particular thing task when we make the plan itself, so that we will have fruitful results. So always we should have a base. Thank you, sir. These are my.
Thank you, Dr. Rao,
Thank you very much for
highlighting the importance of involving the academic communities. I would like to come to this side, but I see the lady just by the side of Dr. Rao. Can the mic be given to her? Where is the mic? Yes.
Yeah, just 5.
Kindly identify yourself and then please make your point.
I am Dr. Neena Joseph. I am Professor, Institute of Management in Government. Some brief 5 points. Number 1, in relief and rescue operations, the person in command and control might have undergone lot of leadership moments. So we should capture immediately after the disaster, we should have a sort of learning regarding the leadership styles, how much participative it can be, etc. And the moments of agonies and ecstasies. Then number 2, regarding the community participation, we talk a lot about the disaster authority at national level, state level and district level, but I think that the authority and legitimacy has not still distilled down to the local level. So we have to do urgently something to revive the local disaster authority. Then another thing is regarding the post-disaster reconstruction and rehabilitation. What is the scope of participation of the community? Lot of learning has to be there regarding that. Then we should have formal programs like postgraduate diploma and degrees in disaster management. Then regarding the learnings in the implementation, we should have a systematic way in which these learnings from the researchers can reach the administrators. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. You see, for highlighting the importance of degree courses and diploma courses. I was just wondering, can we have a couple of people from this side? Can the mic be brought here?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay, after you, I'll come to this side and then again go back to that side. Yeah, please.
My
Please,
name is
please identify yourself and
Yes,
please
sir.
make the point.
My name is Satish. I am from Kalam Lab, sir. So, as of now, you are saying that 2015 to 2030 is the new framework, right, sir? But is it adopted the UAV technologies and the latest technologies by upgraded day by day? So, because UAV technology is changing a lot of difference in disaster management coming years. So, maybe 2-3 years that would change a lot. But how far you are, as of now, you are integrated into that? So, this is the more important area in coming years because it's into the 30 years plan. So, what about that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think that's also a very important point. The importance of technology, and since we are taking 15-year perspective, and since the technology is changing fast every day, therefore, how do we account and factor in the evolving technology? Thank you so much. So, can we come here? Yes, please.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Aftab Ahmed, from representing Government of India, Ministry of Labor and Employment, and we are working in the Directorate General of Mine Safety, and I have presented a paper on that also regarding our contribution in disaster management. I request the chairperson to kindly include my point in the Visakhapatnam declaration. My point is that we have a specialized rescue trained persons in different mining sectors, and more than 3,000 rescue trained persons are already been utilized in the mine disasters and other happenings in the mining area. Their uses may be utilized in the civil societies and other disasters also. That is my point. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I know mining sector, somehow I was also posted in Dhanbad. So I know about the mining disasters and this point about trained people and how they can be utilized. Thank you so much.
Excellent,
Can
sir.
we give the mic to the next person here, second row. Second row here. Yes, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Kindly remember that it is not a question answer session. We have already read the declaration, draft of the declaration. We want your inputs also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please.
I profusely thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Gopal. I'm a social and environmental activist. We are sitting in Visakhapatnam, and we are inviting disaster. For bauxite mining, you need a lot of power. It's a power guzzler. And for that, we are having in Visakhapatnam district the third thermal power plant. 50 years of solid research in China. Does warmer China, if that the link is shown on the TV screens, it will be beneficial for the entire nation. We are having a 1,000-kilometer coastline, and Visakhapatnam is like a sitting duck. Our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister is also here. I bring to the notice of the state government, it is time to scrap bauxite mining, number one. Number two, and to support bauxite smelting, we are installing the third thermal power plant. And it's very, very dangerous for the entire city of destiny, which we fondly call as Visakhapatnam. And there is more likelihood of Hudhud-like cyclones coming and locking on to Visakhapatnam topography, city. Now, the warmer the temperature, the more likelihood of cyclones locking on to the land surface. Landfall and land surface temperature are correlated. A simple search for everyone who has committed here for the cause of the environment and for avoiding disasters altogether. I humbly request you to just show only one cartoon on the screen. Not a cartoon, it's actually scientific data. Thank you, sir. At least it can be done at the fag end if there is no net connectivity inside the hall. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, for raising this local issue relating to bauxite mining. But it's local, it may appear to be local, but it's also larger in terms of affecting the environment. So I think it's very important. We'll take note of it. Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Dr. Shankar Rao, sir. On behalf of GMC Visakhapatnam, the health officer, I am speaking, sir. Yesterday, I presented one paper on ideal cyclone center, how it should be in coastal Andhra Pradesh. See, this only many papers are excellent papers. Problem identification in the coastal districts and solutions, possible solutions, what we did under recommendations by this World Congress Disaster Management. That is we needed. Another paper is civilized people, civil service people, whatever it may be, IAS, IPS, whoever it may be. There are rules and regulations laid down by the Parliament and Assembly and all. The rules is there. Strictly implement, irrespective of cadre, irrespective of powers. Then only it is possible to do the things, because major drains in the cities was totally occupied. Right from the Kerala to the Orissa, major cities drains totally occupied and unauthorized constructions totally. Now water is pooling in the town and cities. This solution some should be including your this whatever disaster management program. You must include these things locally, problem, solutions, and your recommendations, World Congress recommendations. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for highlighting some of the points relating to the urban areas. Ranjini, excuse me, can you please give the mic to, Ranjini, please.
Thank you, sir. My submission to the chair would be, like, we are already talking about risk-sensitive planning in the draft declaration, but we cannot be risk-sensitive unless we have the risk information available with us. So I think my request would be if the declaration puts a little more emphasis on risk assessment and collation of risk information, so that we are able to take up any risk-sensitive exercise. Number one. Number two, while we are talking about empowering local communities or building capacity at local level, my request would be to look a little beyond DRR and talk about building resilience, because we can only reduce the disaster risk when we are able to build the resilience of people, and that calls for attention to other sectors, livelihood, health, and etc. So maybe not only DRR, but maybe probably looking into a little broadly, talk about building the resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjini, for highlighting this, the issues relating to risk assessment and building resilience. Can we have the lady next, Rani Sahai, please?
I just read through the document, the declaration.
Close.
I just saw the declaration, and there's a point about setting up an institution at the local level. So I was just thinking that do we have a dearth of institutions? We already have institutions at various levels. It's just about actually taking them up in a big way. And the second thing which I wanted to talk about was about institutions, existing institutions. Whether they have the capacity to carry things out. So it's also about building institutional resilience. For example, a state disaster management authority, any state disaster management authority, if a disaster strikes, whether they have the capacity to cope with it themselves and then carry out what their mandate is. So not just the SDMAs, other institutions as well, which are related to that. So you can focus on that also.
Thank you, Rani, for this point about institutional resilience.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
excuse me, sir. Good morning, sir.
No, I'm not able to see.
Yeah. This side, sir. Okay. I am from a mining industry.
Okay.
Just I wanted to give my views that so long we are discussing about disaster management, it is mainly post-disaster management. There are certain things in the pre-disaster management also. That means with our past history, we know that floods and storms, they are recurring to certain areas. So we can have some pre-disaster management plan also. along with our post-disaster management plan. Because if we make ourselves prepared for the disaster, then we have less destruction. So we can cope up earlier. That is first thing. And the second thing is that in the post-disaster management plan, very simple thing, there should be, to the public, to the community, everybody should know whom to contact during any disaster. That is very important. Otherwise, there is a chaos. People run here and there, but don't find a solution whom to contact. So that is very important.
Thank you, thank you. The point about preparedness in advance, planning in advance, not just post-disaster planning, that's a very good point. The Disaster Management Act also now recognizes and gives a lot of importance to advanced planning, you see, preparedness, planning, etc., you see. Thank you so much. I can see that there is so much of enthusiasm from people in the hall to contribute that our drafting committee